So I'm starting, today is day one of my Whole30, and I want to kind of document it with doing a vlog. And so I'm going to be popping on here every day and sharing my story, and if you want to follow along, awesome. If not, that's okay, no worries. So the Whole30 really intimidated me for a really long time, and I didn't really know what to expect, and so I put the book on hold and I checked it out from the library. And as soon as I read the introduction about how, like changing, modifying your diet in order to get rid of aches and pains and eventually breaking up with foods, which so many of us have an emotional connection to, it really spoke to me because I am an emotional eater. I am a tired eater. And I've modified my diet over the years just because I found I have a really sensitive system. And I know that if I'm eating certain things, like particularly wheat, my body aches and I have extra inflammation and I wind up at my chiropractor's office way more. I'm like, when are you going to name a room after me, man? Like, I'm here all the time. It's gotten so much better since I cut out wheat. So I've been it's part of my fitness journey, like trying to figure out, obviously we work out, right? You want to look good too. It's about an inside transformation and it's about feeling amazing and strong in your own skin. But at the same time, you want to look good, right? And I always am so bloated. I'm so bloated unless I'm living off of, I don't know, carrots and water, and that's not at all what I preach because it's all about balance. And I want to enjoy my life, but I also want to dig in and figure out what are the foods that are my triggers and stuff. So the Whole30 really felt like it was going to be a good match for me, even though I'm not going to lie, it's like kind of overwhelming to think about giving up dairy and yogurt and all the things that they're not even wild things, but they give me joy. So it's only 30 days, right? We're mothers. We can do anything for 30 days. So today is day one, and it's already so apparent that it's so psychological because this day hasn't really been that different than most days. I didn't have my coffee. I made coffee, but I put almond milk in it, and it was just gross. So I've reheated it. But I've done this before. I've cut out coffee. I cut out sugar. I cut out dairy. Whatever. I do this. I think it's just the idea that it's 30 days kind of freaking me out. But I'm reminding myself about this piece that's in The Miracle Morning. And he talks in here about how the Miracle Morning is totally unrelated to the Whole30, but it's about setting yourself up for success and no longer living a life of mediocrity, like deciding that you have a purpose for your life and you're not just going to sit here and wait for things to happen. Like you get that you have to have an intention and you have to be purposeful and intentional and go out and make stuff happen. So the point of the Miracle Morning is that you get up a little earlier and you implement a couple things into your daily routine, like meditation and affirmations, which I love, a visualization, right? Because it's the law of attraction, which I know sounds really weird, but if you begin to really believe that you're worthy and you begin to really believe that it's going to come to you, it does. It's so weird. I know it's totally weird, but it's true. So things like that, and then journaling, which is a huge one, just like speaking things into existence, right? Because if you go out into this world with a negative mindset, all that's going to be attracted to you is negativity. And part of that might be your perspective, right? Like you're only seeing negative, so that's all you'll ever see. But if you retrain your mind, and I've had to retrain myself as a really negative Nancy, if you retrain yourself to look for the good, then that's all you start to see. You don't notice the bad as much because you're looking for the good. And so that's part of the Miracle Morning, like just working on yourself every single day, adjusting your mindset, filling your cup, taking time for you so that you can go out and be the best mom, wife, whoever you can be. But it starts with us. And so I was reading this piece in the Miracle Morning, and I'm going to apply it to my Whole30 because I know it's a mental thing more than anything. My sugar dragon, my relationship with food, and my emotional eating. As Americans, we have kind of a culture based around food. Something good happens, we celebrate with food, or we have champagne, right? Something bad happens, oh, I'm sorry you had a hard day, here's a cupcake. We just do it. I'm not saying it's bad, but it totally ties into the emotional connection with food, and how sometimes if we're unhappy with ourselves, or we feel insecure, or we're feeling frustrated, or we're tired, it's easy to fill those voids with food. And after the food we're reaching for, you're not going to reach for a bag of carrots, right? You're going to reach for a cupcake or a chocolate bar or, I don't know, a white chocolate mocha, whatever is your guilty pleasure. Those are the things that we're going to gravitate towards. So the Whole30 is about breaking up with those emotional attachments and eating to live, not living to eat. And I know that I need that adjustment. So day one, it's totally my head. And this is the whole point of it. It's the Miracle Morning 30-Day Habit Mastery. There's a little chapter in here about it. And he talks about how there's 3 phases when you are starting something new. And days 1 to 10, that's your phase one, and it's often unbearable, right? Because it's so uncomfortable, it's not something you're used to, and it's just, implementing any new habit or ridding yourself of an old habit can feel unbearable. And so you just have to kind of retrain your thoughts and not give in to that negative Nancy train. And so he says in here that the problem for most people is they don't realize the seemingly unbearable first 10 days, it's only temporary. Everything in life is temporary. Nothing is ever permanent. Really, if you think about it, like, we have a say in things, and if it's really uncomfortable, well, that's okay. Like, just lean into the discomfort because it's only temporary. And on the other side of that uncomfortableness is probably amazingness. So he goes on to quote a few other things about how, like, 95% of our society is really, they're like the mediocre majority, which is awful, right? Who wants to think of yourself as being mediocre? But mediocrity is just another word for normal or average. I don't want to be normal. I don't want to be average. And I get the whole, normal is only a setting on your dryer or whatever. But it's true. A lot of us have these, like, preconceived notions about the things we have to do because it's normal. It's expected. It's average. Well, try this hat on for size and think about, you know what? Those normal average things, that's just being mediocre, and I'm better than that. So I'm telling myself that today, I'm better than that, right? I'm not going to be mediocre with my nutrition. I'm going to step it up a notch, and I'm going to do the uncomfortable, awkward stuff for a little while to reap the benefit so I can really see what things don't serve me. So phase 1 through 10, or that's phase 1, or days 1 through 10, it's unbearable. Days 11 to 20 is uncomfortable, right? They're not unbearable, they're just uncomfortable, and it requires discipline and commitment. And I know with fitness, I get a lot of people reaching out to me about their motivation, like, well, how do you stay motivated? And it's like, motivation is fleeting. Motivation is not something you should ever be like, I need to be motivated. No, you need to make a decision, and then you decide that you're going to back up your decision because you're worth it, because you matter, because at the end of the day, you taking a few minutes to take care of you is worth it. So it's not about motivation. Motivation is a crock of BS. In fact, it's kind of like Valentine's Day and Hallmark. Everybody thinks they need motivation and they think they need a big catalyst to do some big life change, but you don't. All you have to decide is you're worth it, and it's time to change things up and then go from there. Yep. All right, and then phase 3, days 21 to 30 are the unstoppable phase. And so there's a lot of theory out there that it takes 21 days to build a habit, like a 21-day fix. You do something for 21 days, but there's actually a lot of psychology around the fact that it takes like 66 days, or it takes 30 days. And so that's why they say you should do things for 30 days. 21 days, that's awesome. 30, even better. 66 is that much better. But I know for me with the 30, with the whole 30, the idea of 30 is overwhelming me, and so I'm just telling myself I'm not thinking about tomorrow. I'm not going to think about next week. I'm not going to think about phase 3. I'm just going to focus on right now, today, because that's all I have control over. Tomorrow's not even promised, right? Who knows? The rapture could come. So anyways, that's my little pep talk to myself. Maybe it helped you as well, but I'm going to I will chronicle my journey. I'm looking forward to what happens on Kill All the Things days. Yeah. It's okay. Shark Week is now, so I think that we will bypass that and no one will die, although we'll see. All right, my friends, make today fantastic and amazing because you're the driver of your bus. Just like I'm telling myself I'm the driver of my bus, and I'm not steering it towards chocolate today. I will be strong. I will be fearless. I will be a badass because I am, and so are you. Make it count.